friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and today I'm going to talk about what I think the next hero's journey is going to be, who it's going to focus around, and even when I think it's going to launch into the game. Now, I do have a few other theories that I didn't include in this video. If you want to check out goingnerdy.com, I've written them out there. But to really begin to look at what a hero's journey or what the hero's journey is going to be, we have to look at what you need for a hero's journey. Now, the first thing you obviously need is a character who can take the journey, right? You need someone whose story focuses around the major character in the movie, right? Someone who goes on a changeable journey, right? In Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes right now, we have Farm Boy Luke to CLS. We have Scavenger Rey to Jedi training, right? So we need someone who's going to make a large enough change. We need someone who's going from one power level to the next. We need someone who's going from a certain specific aspect of their lives to something totally different or something enhanced. That's going to rule out a number of major characters. Already, we have Ahsoka and we have Fulcrum Ahsoka. Now, since we don't really know where Ahsoka's story is going, I highly doubt that she's going to be the next hero's journey character. You can also rule out Han, because as many iterations of Han and Chewbacca that we have in the game, it's unlikely that we're going to see either of them take a hero's journey, because if we would have, I think we would have seen it by now. Now, Leia is kind of the wild card. I don't think that she's necessarily going to be focused on enough to take a hero's journey, because we don't really see her take the hero's journey in the film. Now, she does have a lot of really awesome moments in the books and the comics and the canon. There's a lot of really cool stuff with Leia, but she doesn't take a journey per se. And so I don't think that we'll see one there. There's two characters that could make the list, but don't necessarily fit the bill here. We have Asajj Ventress. For those of you who don't know Asajj Ventress' backstory, she was a Jedi, she fell, she was trained by the Sith, she eventually became Count Dooku's apprentice, Darth Tyrannus' his apprentice. She joined the Separatists, Tyrannus tried to kill her, Tyrannus failed, right? She became a bounty hunter, she worked with Boba Fett. We have this whole really in-depth, really cool story for Asajj Ventress. She's not a strong enough character in canon, or a big enough focus in canon, for us to really believe that she would get a hero's journey type of character. Then we have Darth Maul. Darth Maul is a major player in Star Wars. We see him throughout Star Wars Clone Wars, we see him in Rebels, we see him in the books, in the comics. He's a major player. And in fact, it is likely that Darth Maul will be a major focus in Clone Wars Season 7, because Clone Wars Season 7 is supposed to focus in and around the Mandalorian Wars or the revolt on Mandalore, something to that extent, the Battle of Mandalore. That is something that we're probably going to see. Now, for a lot of people who are thinking, well, it's a hero's journey, don't get caught up on the hero's concept here, because the character that I'm going to suggest isn't necessarily a hero. The idea of a hero's journey is someone who takes a transformative trip, someone who goes from innocent and naive to something totally different, right? So essentially what we see here is a original trilogy, a sequel trilogy, and what we don't have is a prequel trilogy, right? Something added to them. The only character that description fits is Anakin Skywalker. Now, why I think Anakin Skywalker is going to be our next hero's journey, or villain's journey, or hero's downfall, or whatever they decide to call it. Now, we have a few different things here. One, we have Anakin Skywalker in the game already. We also have his ship, which is kind of a key factor. We do have pretty much everyone that we would need for a hero's journey Anakin to take place, with one glaring exception. I mean, we have Qui-Gon Jinn, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, we have R2, we have Ahsoka, we have Palpatine, we have Yoda, we have all of these characters. We don't have Padme. Padme is kind of the linchpin here. Padme's a character, Padme's the character that set Anakin off on the hero's journey. I don't think that we would necessarily, or even have to get, a young Anakin before we got a Padme. I think that'd be kind of ridiculous. I mean, I don't think anyone would be happy with that. But I do think that we would need a Padme before we get the Anakin hero's journey. Because let's face it, Padme's the reason why Anakin did everything that he did. He's trying to save Padme's life and the lives of his unborn children. That's the reason, right? That's why he takes the villain's journey. That's why he falls prey to Palpatine. But other than that, as far as in-game characters, we have pretty much everyone that would be needed. Now, one of the main reasons I think that we're getting a Darth Vader Anakin, or the hero's journey, hero's downfall Anakin, is 2019 is going to be the year of the Clone Wars, right? There's a lot of really cool stuff happening in and around this event, or in and around this time period. You have the Age of the Republic. Now, this is a comic book series that's coming out. Already, there's been 2 that have come out with Age of Republic, and it has been awesome. It's focusing on Darth Maul. They're one-off comics that kind of give more and more background to that time period. There's going to be Age of Republic, Age of the Empire, Age of the Rebellion, something to that extent. But we also have Clone Wars Season 7 coming out. Now, we don't know when that series is coming out, but it's coming out. And it's likely that they're going to try to build hype for that event, which makes sense because who's not excited for Clone Wars Season 7? It's going to be phenomenal. Very excited about it. But they're going to capitalize on that. Also, they have hinted that a rework is coming. General Grievous was a huge want for a lot of people, specifically Arnold T101, right? He staked his channel and followed through with his claim that he would delete his YouTube channel if it didn't come through. Now, for those of you who didn't watch the video, it's pretty funny. He does delete his YouTube channel, just not his Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes one. Good play, Arnold. But one of the things that's really interesting is during that time when he made that proclamation, when he said, "I'm going to delete my channel if Grievous doesn't come," they're like, well, be prepared. He's not coming in 2019. I know that's a subtle thing, but there's other little things that have come up, other little things that they've hinted at, that General Grievous is going to be a focus for 2019. The rework is going to be a focus. You also have the rework of the Clone Wars. You have the rework of the Separatists that are going to happen in and around that time period. Now, when is that going to happen? That is debatable. As I mentioned, the only character that I think that we are missing for a hero's fall or a villain's journey or a journey to the dark side would be Padme Amidala. If you look at all of the other heroes' journeys, with a few exceptions, I think most people had every character leveled and geared and focused on. But if you look at Rey's hero's journey, you needed BB-8, and BB-8 came out as a legendary event. It is possible that Padme Amidala could come out as a legendary event within the next couple of months. If that's the case, I would expect no more than 3 months later, no more than shortly after the second time that legendary event does come live, a hero's journey to be announced. Now, if that's the case, I would put this somewhere between April to June or July to September. Somewhere in quarter 1 or quarter 2 of their fiscal year, which quarter 1 starts April 1 for them. Now, that would make sense. Again, Anakin did everything for Padme, and it makes sense that she be in the game for this to work out. Whether we need her or not, I don't rightly know. But everyone else is already there, right? And it makes sense. I really think that it's possible that we could get something like this. There's a lot more information, a lot more crap that I've branched out. It makes sense that it could be Anakin. I want it to be Anakin. I want to see a hero's downfall. I want to see the rise of Darth Vader. And I've said this before, how cool would it be to have that final scene where you're walking in with some clone troopers, maybe members of the 501st. Maybe those are veterans that we have to farm. I don't know. but you're walking in with those guys to the Jedi Temple with your Darth Vader Anakin. That would be sweet. I think this is a really awesome opportunity, and I think based on just what my research proves, what my research has led me to believe, I think there's one missing hero's journey that we don't have, and that is Anakin Skywalker. But what do you guys think? If he's coming, what do you think he'll look like? What do you think a Darth Vader Anakin's hero's kit would look like? I really am excited for this because I really do think that it's coming. And I don't think it's that far off. I mean, 6 months really isn't a long time away. So, with that, like, subscribe, share, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, join us on Discord. If you feel like supporting the channel financially, there's links in the section below. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, my friends, and as always, smile and stay nerdy.